are 1 week into the NFL season now. Bengals, clearly, first half of that game, offensive line was struggling. Now, they started the pieces together in the second half, and I think, when you talk about that struggling offensive line, you do have to expect it. As much as, we thought it was going to happen because of what the Bengals played like last season at that O-line. Regardless, though, when you bring in, Williams, you had Suafilo, you bring in new faces to an offensive line, doesn't matter who they are, it takes a little bit to get the chemistry going. And if that was just the case here and, things started to tighten up in the second half, that's great. But what if it's not the case? What if it's not the case and the Bengals still do have a problem at offensive line? I think the first thing you look at is, should the Bengals run a no-huddle offense? Now, obviously, there's upsides, downsides. The downside mainly being the fact that Joe Burrow has been in the NFL for all of one game, and it's going to be a lot to handle, right? To throw that much more on a rookie's plate, I don't know if you want to go down that route. For that reason, maybe, and what I like about the idea here is implementing it interimly. Don't make it a full-time thing. Maybe a drive or two. Maybe a drive or two early. You see how the O-line's playing. They're struggling. You go to that no-huddle play, and you try to wear down this defensive line of other teams. You don't let them get off the field. You snap the ball quickly, and that's going to slow down that pass rush. That's going to help out that offensive line. It's going to give Joe Burrow time. The more time they give this guy, we know how ugly things are going to get for that other team's defense there. And for that reason, I love the idea. I love the idea of adding an offensive line, even if it's only, again, interimly. It doesn't have to be the whole game. Maybe you do it in the first half a little bit, try to wear these guys down, get their legs a little wobbly, you get in the second half, and, you can just go back to playing more methodical. They're worn down a little bit, because that could have been the case. It could have been the Bengals' offensive line was really playing well in the second half, or you can say these guys came out fresh, energized, ready to go in the first half, and you started seeing the Boses, the Ingrams kind of wear down a little bit in the second half. You can look at it from both sides. We won't really know, until next game. Bengals are going to have Myles Garrett to deal with next here. But after watching the way Joe Burrow took this team up and down the field, no huddle offense there in a 2-minute drill, I think you consider it. But you just gotta be very careful and try not to put too much on this guy's plate at once. But we gotta keep in mind, this isn't your normal 21, 22-year-old quarterback coming in the league. This guy was a 5-year redshirt player out of college, and he's ready for a lot of this stuff. He's clearly shown he can put a lot on his plate at once. He ran a lot of NFL stuff over there in LSU, so, he's got a little transition there. It'd be interesting. I think it's a good idea, but I think you don't, you try to limit it as much as possible there. I understand. Maybe you have just a set few plays, your 2-minute drill, but a little extended where you give this guy a chance if it needs to be done. If the offensive line plays great, I don't think you rush it. You don't worry about it. But if they're struggling, it's a way to give these guys a little bit more of a breather per se and give Joe Burrow some extra time. Even helps to open things up for Mixon there, really. We'll see. What's you guys' thoughts on a no-huddle offense for the Bengals? Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.